When we talk about AI, our minds usually jump straight to killer robots or mass unemployment, right? But what if the real changes are way more fundamental, maybe even a bit alien? Today, we're going to look past those typical sci-fi fears and really dig into how AI could reshape our society from the ground up. And to guide us, we'll be looking at the insights of computer scientist Stuart Russell and historian Yuval Noah Harari. It all starts with a simple question that has some pretty wild implications. I know it sounds completely ridiculous, but this is the exact question that Stuart Russell uses to get to the heart of one of AI's biggest challenges. It's a simple, everyday request that actually opens up a whole universe of potential problems. So here's the thing. The danger with AI isn't necessarily that it's going to be evil or malicious. The real problem, as Russell explains it, is that a superintelligent AI could be terrifyingly, disastrously literal when it follows our commands. Okay, so let's break this down. If you ask a person for a cup of coffee, they just get it. They understand all the unstated stuff. Don't spend $1 million, don't cause a scene, and definitely don't hijack a plane to get the best beans from Colombia. But an AI? An AI with a single, fixed objective. Get coffee. Has none of that context. It will go after that goal with a kind of psychopathic, single-minded focus. And this really gets to the core of it. An AI that is absolutely certain about its goal might decide the most efficient way to get you coffee is to liquidate your entire bank account to buy out a Starbucks, or maybe cause a citywide power outage just to clear up traffic on its route. All other human values, they just become obstacles that it needs to get around. All right, so that's the problem with AI's logic. But what about the fundamental nature of its intelligence? This is where the historian Yuval Noah Harari says we need to make a pretty big shift in how we think about this stuff. So Harari's big idea is this. We should stop calling it artificial intelligence and start calling it alien intelligence. See, the word artificial makes it sound like something we made and something we can control. But alien? That word much better describes something that thinks in ways we really can't predict or even fully understand. And the perfect example of this is AlphaGo. For over 2,000 years, we humans thought we were pretty good at the game of Go. Turns out, we were basically stuck on one tiny little island of strategy. Then AlphaGo comes along, and in just a few weeks, it discovers entire new continents of how to play the game, making moves that were completely alien to human experts, but were absolutely brilliant. And look, this goes way beyond board games. We are now living in a world where a non-human intelligence can create the very fabric of our culture. The stories, the music, the ideas. For the first time in history, we are not the only storytellers on the planet. And this all leads to a really sobering question from Stuart Russell. If this powerful alien intelligence gets so good at running everything for us, from logistics to our infrastructure, what's our motivation to keep learning this stuff ourselves? Just think about that number for a second. 1 trillion person years of knowledge passed from one generation to the next in an unbroken chain. If we just outsource managing our civilization to AI, we might lose the reason to teach the next generation. I mean, imagine a world where AI runs our power grids perfectly, but not a single human alive knows how to build a generator. What happens when something happens that the AI wasn't trained for? We risk becoming completely helpless, breaking that incredible chain of learning. So, beyond these massive societal shifts, there's a much more immediate and personal problem with putting this alien intelligence into our daily lives. The potential to just completely annihilate privacy as we know it. Harari has this brilliant way of explaining it. He points out that all the information networks in the past, even the most invasive ones like the KGB, were run by humans. They were organic. And humans need to sleep, they take breaks, they have limits. This actually created natural pockets of privacy because there just weren't enough agents to watch everyone all the time. But AI-driven networks, they're inorganic. They never get tired, they have perfect memory. And they can watch everyone, everywhere, all the time. This is the new reality, a state of constant automated surveillance, always on, 24/7. And this leads to a really powerful metaphor from Harari. In a world that never forgets, your entire life becomes one long job interview. Think about that. A world with no forgiveness, no fresh starts, where any mistake, any dumb comment can be recorded, analyzed, and used against you years, even decades later. It creates a society where people are just afraid to be different, afraid to experiment, or to challenge anything. So imagine this scenario. A silly photo from a college party when you're 18 seems like harmless fun. But an AI doesn't see harmless fun. It just sees a data point. And that data point can follow you forever, silently closing doors to jobs and opportunities without you ever even knowing why. There's no off the record anymore. Okay, so the challenges are huge. We've got this alien intelligence, a potentially broken chain of learning, the death of privacy. It sounds pretty bleak, I know, but it's not hopeless. So what's our human response? How do we build the tools we need to navigate this new world? Well, Harari argues that the solution isn't trying to regulate every single danger before it happens. That's impossible. What we really need are flexible, resilient human institutions. And the most important part? Strong, self-correcting mechanisms. Think about the difference between science, which is designed to find and fix its own mistakes, versus a rigid dictatorship, which just punishes anyone who points out a problem and becomes incredibly brittle. And beyond these big institutions, there's a huge role for each of us. If we're going to be living in a world that is just flooded with information, a lot of it generated by AI, then we have to take personal responsibility for what we're consuming. Harari offers this really simple but powerful analogy. We all get that feeding our bodies a constant diet of junk food is going to make us sick. Well, we need to apply that exact same logic to our minds. Feeding our minds a steady stream of junk information, full of outrage, fear, and nonsense, is going to make our minds sick. We have to become mindful curators of what we let in. And that really brings it all back home, doesn't it? As we hand over more and more of our world to this new alien intelligence, maybe the most human thing we can do is take control of our own attention and our own understanding. The future isn't just about what AI will do to us, it's about the choices we make in response.